Alright, good afternoon, gentlemen. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. It's episode number 28 of the Minecraft Survival Let's Play. We have plenty of Minecraft things planned out for today, but I quickly just want to talk about some things that are going on in my life outside of Minecraft. Now, I say my life, and that's pretty dramatic. I don't know why I formatted that sentence that way, but what I really mean is the movies, the TV shows, all the media that has been releasing recently, the media that's yet to release. We have things like the Boba Fett show coming, which I'm incredibly excited for. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and then there's the other side of things in the fantasy universe. The Witcher Season 2 came out. It was phenomenal. I watched all 8 episodes yesterday. Each episode is like an hour long, but I'm just so in love with that universe and that TV show specifically. I'm also playing The Witcher 3, which is phenomenal. I'm just in love with Henry Cavill as Geralt. I love Henry Cavill. I'm a huge fan of him, and he just fits that show so perfectly. That show is incredible. I really recommend it if you're into fantasy or really TV shows in general. And then on top of that, the big boy that just released, Spider-Man No Way Home. It was everything I could have asked for and more. I'm not going to talk about any spoilers, but it definitely was one of the greatest theater experiences of my entire life. I absolutely love that movie. I didn't like Tom Holland. I didn't like any of his previous movies. I didn't like the trailers for this movie. I didn't like the posters. And then I went to go watch this movie, and I was just shocked. It was phenomenal. But yeah, that's basically it. I know all this might seem a little bit random or out of context to some of you. It doesn't really have anything to do with Minecraft at all, but just some things that I've really been enjoying these past few days and weeks. And December's a pretty great month. I mean, it's the month of Christmas. Everything feels cozy, and there's so many cool winter activities, I guess you could say. Even though that sounds incredibly cheesy, it's true. I love December. I love Christmas. There's been such great content releasing recently, and it feels like it's been a while since we've been getting great content like this that actually makes you smile. So very fortunate and happy about all of that and just having a great time. I'm sure that life is going to throw a stone at me soon enough and I'll have to worry about multiple things, but for now I just really want to soak all of this in and enjoy it. But that's all. Let's move on into the episode itself. And I also forgot to mention the Hawkeye TV show is really great. It really surprised me. It's definitely my favorite out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe TV shows. I love the vibe to it. I love the story. I love how it's ground level. And it's really making me appreciate Hawkeye, and I'm just incredibly excited for the season finale coming later this week. Alright, so here we are up on the Sky platform, and I've kind of went ahead and started to begin terraforming and outlining the projects to come. Now, I said in the previous episode that we won't be working on this village today, and that's true. We're not going to do much here today. I just wanted to show you guys the rough outline, some of the rough terraforming, where everything is going to go. We're going to make some more outlines on this side. We're going to do some editing on this lake or river or whatever it is. It's looking particularly strange, so we'll get to that eventually. But yeah, this is the basic outline. We're going to be filling in the backs of these houses. We're going to be creating all of these new houses. There's going to be various different changes. We'll probably end up moving some stuff around, but this is kind of what I'm thinking for right now. I'm going to leave it here, just the outlines, and we'll come back to this in a future episode. And then this is just another quick little update. We're going to leave it here. I just wanted to finish the other side of the houses so we have a complete strip, I guess, or the template for a complete strip. Anyways, moving on to something else. Alright, so what we're going to be working on today is the spruce forest over here. We're going to be doing some terraforming. We're going to be building out some more trees and maybe even getting to the log cabin that I've been talking about for who knows how long now, but I finally want to get to that project. I have a log cabin that I have in mind, like an actual one in real life, a picture of it, and I kind of want to see if I can convert that into Minecraft and see how that's going to go. But yeah, let's jump over there into the forest and see what we can do. Alright, so here we are running down into the spruce wood forest, a project that I've always wanted to complete, that I love working on, but it's just incredibly tedious. And I say love working on, maybe the correct term there would be I love seeing the progress build up. This is such a unique project that I've never really worked on. It's not really structures or anything like that, more just so like a natural build. We're trying to recreate a forest. We're trying to capture that atmosphere of being in a forest, and we're trying to do it in a, I guess, realistic fashion. We are going to be building the first, I guess, structure in this area today, that being a log cabin. But first, I think we're going to start off by building a few more trees. Alright, so here's a quick before shot. We're going to be working on these trees in front of us today, just filling out the rest of the forest and adding some flowers and vegetation to the bottom. Alright, and then here's the after shot. You can see that there's a bunch more trees here. It looks a lot fuller, and that's just because all I did was add the rest of the spruce trees. Now, I still want to add a few smaller trees. All of these spruce trees in front of us are the 4x4s. I want to go ahead and add some of the 1x1s, or I guess, yeah, 1x1s or 1x2s, maybe some of those, and maybe even sprinkle in a few of the birch trees just to add some variation. Alright, but here we go. You can see I've added a few of the birch trees, a few of the 1x2 spruce trees. If you can pick those out, they're kind of difficult to see, but it looks great. I think the birch trees really do add that slight bit of variation and difference, and I'm kind of struggling to get up top to this vantage point so you guys can see, but yeah, I think this looks really great. We're going to go ahead and sprinkle some details and some vegetation to the bottom, to the grass area, make it look a little bit more overgrown and foresty, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we can get a final look over what this kind of like ledge looks like, and then we'll have to do this over and over again until we complete the entire forest, which will take a pretty long time, and we'll one day eventually get to that. Alright, but here we are with a grand overview of the entire forest. You can't exactly see all the details that I've implemented from this far and high up, but I'm coming down here, and you can see I'm getting a lot of frame drop. I think my render distance is a bit too high, but this is what it's looking like. A lot of detail, perhaps too much detail. I might go ahead and remove some of it, but I think it works for the overgrown look that we're going for. And I even incorporated some of these drip leaf, or whatever those things are called. They add some more variation to the wildlife in the water. I added some rocks, some berry bushes, some bamboo, mushrooms, flowers, everything. It's just adding to that forest look, things that kind of do grow in the forest. I guess the bamboo is kind of weird, but I like that block and I like incorporating it, so I went ahead and incorporated it. I think that this is looking genuinely phenomenal. It looks like a forest. It really fits in this area. It's different from all of the oak trees that we have around our area, so I'm really in love with it. I think it looks great. I think we're going to move on and get to that cabin for now, but I'm going to eventually have to do this entire process throughout the entire forest and kind of just continue making these trees, continue adding all this vegetation, and it's an incredibly tedious project, but if we pick away at it every episode or every other episode, then eventually we'll get this all done. Alright, so moving through the forest here, it looks very incomplete. I have to go ahead and do exactly what I did in the previous clip to the rest of the forest, but right now, what I want to do is, I picked out this plot here. Maybe we'll have to take down a few trees, maybe we'll have to go collect some resources up, but I want to build the log cabin that I've been talking about for episodes and episodes now. I found a plot here. It's in kind of like the general middle center of the forest. There is some other things that I want to build farther into the forest, like a fishing cabin and things that you would find in the forest, but right now, I want to work on the log cabin. I found a design for it. I kind of have an idea of how I'm going to build it in Minecraft because the design I found was a picture of an actual log cabin. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to collect some resources up, and then we're going to get into that. I really do think that Mojang needs to go ahead and allow us to add efficiency and unbreaking to shears, just so that we could at least insta-mine vines, because it's so incredibly annoying. Maybe at least someone could even create a data pack that I could add. I wouldn't mind doing that. That would be a perfect fix, but at least to my knowledge, I haven't found any shear data packs that allow you to insta-mine vines or add efficiency or any enchantments to vines, but that would be perfect. Alright, so I went ahead and collected a bunch of various different blocks that we'll be using to build up this log cabin. Here's a sneak peek at some of those resources, but now I'm going to take you into a time lapse and build up this log cabin. And here we are, the cabin has been completed. Personally, I think it looks great. I tried my best at recreating an image of a real-life log cabin, and honestly, I think I've done a pretty good job. If I remember to, I'll put up an image of what I was referencing, but maybe I'll come back and add a few other details, like some bushes and vines, just small things to add that little bit of detail that's missing, but for the most part, it's completed, and we still do have to detail the forest itself, which will make the entire project look better, but for now, the cabin itself looks great. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I really like the small little details that I added, like using the variation of stripped spruce logs and stripped dark oak logs, alternating them. It just gives it that bit of texture. You know, I feel like if I only used the stripped spruce, it would have just all looked a little bit too samey, and maybe it wouldn't look like, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't achieve the desired look that I was going for of how log cabins just have a tree trunk on top of a tree trunk, and if it was all spruce, maybe it just would have looked a little bit boring and untextured. So I'm happy that I went with that. Obviously, looking in here, nothing's completed, and it is pretty small, but I feel like for a cabin, it should be pretty small inside. I mean, all you really have is like a bedroom upstairs, and then maybe like a living room and a kitchen. That's all you really need in a cabin, so maybe we'll get to that one day. I'm not promising anything, but it is a big maybe. But I do kind of want to do the interior of a cabin. I feel like that would be a pretty cool interior to complete. Anyways, there's still a few small things that I want to add eventually, like a campfire, maybe some kind of little garden. That we'll all get to. And I also want to do near here, maybe we'll have like a path that leads to some kind of fishing hut or something like that. But overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Alright, I haven't really done much. This is just a really quick progress update of kind of like the foundations of where I want the paths to lead in the forest. So going straight down here from where you enter into the forest, you get to loop around this tree. You can go left or right just to kind of get around the tree. I didn't want to go right through it. Then you loop around this tree, and here you are at the log cabin, kind of in the middle of the forest like we discussed before. From there, we can either go off to the right or we can go off to the left. If we go to the left, I'm going to have to build some kind of bridge over the ravine. Maybe we'll go over here. I'm not exactly sure what we would build on the left hand side, maybe a campfire, something of that sorts, but I think I'll keep the campfire closer to the cabin. And then if we go off to the right over here, you can see there's kind of like this huge river body of water. This is where I want the fishing hut to be, not exactly sure where, and eventually we'll even get to working on the mountain over here because it just looks pretty scenic and cool, and I feel like we could come up with something cool to put over there. We'll need a path that gets us all the way over there, but for now I think we're gonna leave this spruce forest project alone. We'll come back to it in the next episode or a few episodes down the road. For now, I'm really happy with the log cabin. I'm happy with the paths and how they're kind of setting up, and I'm happy with how the forest is really coming together and the atmosphere is really being achieved. The thing I was mostly scared of is achieving that forest atmosphere in Minecraft. I haven't really made any projects like this, so I'm really happy with how everything's turning out. Let's move on. Alright, I know I said I wasn't going to return to this project in today's episode, but I'm just looking at it from up here, and I want to put some kind of foundation for the beginning of kind of like the docks section. So I basically just want to build out some sort of cobblestone wall and get kind of the foundation and shape going, and then we'll come back to that in the next episode. So I'm just going to see quickly what I can rough out and do, and then I'll be right back. So as you can see, it's a very rough format, design, outline, I guess. It's basically just a cobblestone wall. Picture there being another platform, probably made out of wood, on the water level itself, and that's where little boats and ships can dock up and cargo can be unloaded, different crates and stuff being moved around. That's kind of the desired look I want, something almost piratey in that kind of era, but also it needs to fit in with the rest of the city. And I just went ahead and put this cobblestone wall down just so I could see kind of like the outline, see if the houses are far enough away so we have paths that we can go around. And basically that's exactly what I was trying to do here, just give myself an outline for the future. In the next episode, we'll probably be building this out because I've been waiting a pretty long time to finally get to work on this dock area. I've never really built boats or ships in Minecraft, so I want to maybe dive into that a little bit, but we'll see in the next episode. Alright, but the next thing that I want to do is jump back down under the base itself and start removing some of this stone that we outlined in the previous episode, getting rid of all of it. Probably not in today's episode, but I need a bunch more stone to get to work on the mountains in Asgard. Every time I build up a mountain, I basically use about 10 or so shulker boxes of stone, so I've said stone a few too many times in this clip, but moving on, I'm just going to get to digging, play some YouTube, or maybe listen to some music and clear out as much as I can. I kind of got annoyed of having to run back and forth to the gold farm to repair my pickaxes, so I just went ahead and crafted up a few diamond silk touch pickaxes. Maybe we'll add some netherite and make them netherite pickaxes, but for now I think this should be good and it should eliminate some of the back and forth. Alright, and here's another progress update of the mining, how it's going. I've taken away 2 layers up here at the top. I found all of these villagers here. I'm not sure if we're going to burn them alive or if we're going to kind of leave that platform. Then once we take out all of the other platforms before them, we can kind of remove that and they can drop down to their deaths. We'll see. I don't really need them, so we'll see what we get up to there. As you can see, all of my pickaxes have been basically destroyed. I need to go ahead and repair them. And you can see I only took out 2 layers up here, and that's because I kind of cleared out a perimeter all the way around just to make it a little bit easier for me to mine. I guess I forgot to do this wall right here, so I'll have to do that. But everything else should be surrounded by like a 3-block gap, just so that when I get to the end, I can kind of mark it out and see, and we can have this clean wall at all of the perimeters. And yeah, I'm just going to continue digging. We still have a lot to go. Maybe I'll go ahead and repair all of my pickaxes and then come back here and see what I can do. Oh, and I guess I forgot this wall too, so I have to get to that. Alright, and here's some of the stone that we've collected up. We have a few more shulker boxes sitting in chests just filled with stones. We have a bunch of different miscellaneous blocks. We have some granite, which we probably won't use, but the andesite we'll use to detail some of the mountains, and the diorite we'll use to kind of mimic snow. We'll mix in some actual snow itself, but we'll use diorite for some of the peaks and the snowy areas just to kind of vary things up. This is where the rest of the stone is, and we have a little bit more diorite and andesite, but yeah, I'm going to get to work on some of the mountains now. We should have enough stone for at least 1 or 2 mountains. And here we are in the end. As you can see, I haven't really done much here. Maybe I've built up a few more layers of the second mountain here. But today we're finally going to complete this one. I think we'll do the entire thing. I think I have enough time to do all of that. We have a few remaining shulker boxes here filled with stone, but I'm not going to bore you with placing down shulker boxes. I'm just going to go ahead and get to work on the mountain itself. Okay, and here we are from a view. You can see I've added a few more layers, maybe like 15 to 20 more layers, and it's starting to come together. It looks a little bit steep from this view. It looks a little bit odd, but there's still plenty of work to be done, so I'm going to go ahead and do that work, but I think it looks okay. It still has to be taller than the first mountain, so we still have some ways to go, but I want like different peaks on this mountain. There's probably gonna be like 4 or so, 5 maybe peaks, and they're all gonna peak at different distances, or different heights I should say, and it is a very weird looking mass of stone, so we'll see how this ends up or turns out, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna continue working and then I'll come back to you with another progress update. And here we are with the next progress update. It doesn't look great, that's why it's a progress update and it's not a complete project. Don't even look at the snowy peak. I think that looks horrible. I'm going to heavily alter that. The mountain itself just isn't really looking great. We're going to spend a good amount more time on it, just kind of ironing out some of the issues that I'm having with it. It needs to be much taller. It needs to just look a little bit less strange. I mean, there's just something weird about it. I don't know. It's fine. It's okay, but I want it to look much better. This side right here in particular just doesn't look good. It looks a little bit too flat and weird, and that's probably the best way I could describe this mountain. It just looks a little bit weird. Like, what is that? I'm not sure. I spend so much time on something and then it just looks odd, and now I don't really want to tear it down. I'm just gonna kind of add on to it and we'll see where that gets us. So I'm gonna go ahead, work on it a little bit more, and then come back to you. And here we are waiting on the big reveal. If we turn around here, we can see that it's looking a bit better. You can see some more of the white peaks. We still need to go back and add some snow and detail. It does need a bit more height in my opinion. It just looks a little too similar to the mountain before it, but I think the shape itself is looking a little bit better. It's not as odd as it used to be. I basically just added a bit more stone, but from here, from this view, I think it does look pretty good. It really adds scale to the project itself, and you can see it's not just the void behind it. The mountains behind this one, the one that we currently built, are going to be even taller. This one needs to get a bit taller as well, but I think that the different peaks kind of give it that bit of oddity and detail and kind of fantasy like I don't know, just look, I guess, because it doesn't exactly look like a regular mountain, and that's not exactly what I'm going for. Asgard is this kind of magical realm, so I want the mountains to look a little bit off and weird, just like they do in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and some of the comic reference photos. So yeah, it still does look a little bit odd. I don't think I'm entirely finished with it. I think for today's episode we are going to be done with it, but who knows, we'll come back to this when we're detailing it out with andesite and add some more shapes and grooves and more stone and blocks and kind of just iron out the things that look a little bit odd to me. But I am pretty happy with it for now, so we're gonna leave it at that. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I think the snow peaks, they look a little bit weird, but they definitely work. And the backside is horrible, but doesn't have to look great. It just has to look like it's a mountain and there's stone behind it and not just void. So we're gonna leave it right there. Okay, so I was told to remove the chain here. It doesn't look good. I personally thought it looked okay, but I can understand why I should get rid of it. You know what, I have to say, from this view right here, I think the mountain does look pretty good. I don't know, I guess when you get close up, you can see all the little details and imperfections, so it might look a little bit weird, but from over here, it looks pretty decent. And the last thing I want to do in today's episode is go ahead and update the world to 1.18. I know I'm a little bit late to the party when it comes to that, but I want to play around with all the new blocks, especially the lush block, or moss block. I believe it's called moss, actually. I don't know why I keep saying lush, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, I have to reduce my render distance. Whenever I go into the end, I move it up because the end project is so big and I want to be able to see everything. But that was a weird noise. I don't know if you guys heard that coming from outside. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and update the world, download Optifine, get that set up, and then I'll be right back with you. Alright, so here we are in Minecraft 1.18.1. You can see it says modded down here. That's just because of Optifine. The background here is different. It looks pretty great, actually. I like the mountains that they implemented in the background. But jumping into the copy of the world that we made, Single Player Survival World 1.18, we're going to let this load up. I'm probably going to cut ahead because this looks like it's going to take a while, so give me 1 second. Alright, so we got 100%. Here we are in the world, and it looks like we're falling through the world. So that's kind of odd. Luckily, or not really luckily, but good thing this is a backup world because, okay, here we go. That was a bit strange. I'm not exactly sure, but what I was saying is it didn't really matter if we died there or if the world crashed or got deleted or whatever, because this is a copy. I think I said that in the previous clip, but just making sure all of you know that. But yeah, 1.18.1, everything looks exactly the same because we don't really have any of that new terrain here. So what I'm going to do now is see if we could go below bedrock and see if the deep slate has replaced the bedrock, and then see if we could find any of the new blocks or caves under anywhere under here. I guess I'm just going to poke a hole. I guess we could go down to the strip mines and do it there. Alright, so heading over here into our mob farm, or I guess the collection room for our mob farm, I wanted to check this area out because we do have that glass floor that has bedrock under it, and as you could see now, the bedrock has been replaced by deep slate, so that should be happening in the entire world. They replaced all of the bedrock at the bedrock level with deep slate. You can mine through it, and then I believe you have like another 64 blocks to go down now, so we could fully take advantage of that. Unfortunately, bedrock isn't insta-mineable. I really hope that they change that. It would be even pretty cool if they added like maybe another level to the beacon. Maybe you had to do one more level below, and I don't know how many more blocks that would be, maybe like 2.5 stacks, or probably less than that, but and then it let you unlock like haste 3, and maybe you could mine deep slate. I think that would be pretty cool. But I went ahead and I mined out this hole right here, and I actually got pretty lucky, and we found one of these I don't know, what is this called, the drip stone, I'm not exactly sure, the stalagmites and stalactites, I believe that's what they're called, and they have their own certain cave biome. So I found this, I jumped down. I actually already recorded me like live going through this cave, but the clip just didn't have any audio, and then I did the exact same thing one more time, and that clip didn't have any audio. But I came down here and I was exploring the area, and I mean, I've seen all of these caves in different YouTubers' videos, and I've seen them explore all of this, and then I played it for myself, and it was completely different. I mean, I'm just absolutely amazed at how good these caves look, how cool these areas are. It honestly feels like modded Minecraft. It feels like it's too good to be true. It looks so cool. All of the new blocks are amazing. I showed you some of the blocks that I had in my inventory. I can't wait to use all of these and incorporate them, especially the moss blocks. They look phenomenal. You have those kind of like vines dripping down with the lighting. I'm not exactly sure what that's called. I haven't really went ahead and familiarized myself with the names of any of these new blocks, but I'm just take a look at how gorgeous these caves are. This is right under our base. I'm not sure if we're going to be utilizing any of this as far as building goes, but we're definitely going to be harvesting a ton of the resources up, and then we'll see. But I'm really glad that 1.18 has released. I can't wait to check out the mountains. In the next episode, we're going to have to fly pretty far to see that, or maybe we'll make some kind of a nether portal or something like that. But yeah, this just looks really phenomenal, and I'm really happy that 1.18 has released. Alright, but I think that's where we're going to leave today's episode off. We did get to work on the log cabin and the mountain, which were pretty cool. The rest of the episode was kind of just a bunch of miscellaneous tasks and projects and smaller things, finishing up some of the trees and building that dock out, or at least the foundation for where that dock's going to be. We'll get to some of those projects in the next episode. I'm not exactly 100% sure on any of the new projects that I'm going to be working on, but I kind of want to continue building out the world, so we'll see where that gets us in the next episode. I don't want to be specific because I'm just not exactly 100% sure on what we're gonna do, but yeah, maybe I've been talking about this for a little too long. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully wherever you are, whenever you are, you're having a pretty decent time. Let me know if any of you saw Spider-Man No Way Home. I personally thought it was amazing. Let me know your thoughts. Have you seen The Witcher Season 2? That was also really great in my opinion. Those are some things that don't really have anything to do with Minecraft, but I just like talking to people about Minecraft in general though. Let me know how the world's doing. Let me know if there's any projects you want me to work on, or anything I should implement in the projects that we're working on now. But that's it. I'm going to leave it off there. Again, hopefully you're all having a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode.